So, you're starting to research for an essay or maybe a speech for your CAP class, and now you have to decide where you're going to look for information. Maybe you're pretty confident in your ability to use Google, Google Scholar, and Wikipedia. You always find what you need, so why would you use anything else? Or perhaps you feel overwhelmed by all the different types of information out there, and you just don't know where to start. If so, you're not alone. According to findings from Project Information Literacy in 2013, many students have difficulty understanding what the search process entails. Many default to using Google and a few other familiar sources. These days, there are so many different places you can go to find information that research can seem like an insurmountable task. Figuring out what types of information you need, deciding where to look for these sources, determining whether they're credible, all of it can be too much. Let's start breaking it down so you can become a capable and competent student researcher during your university career and beyond. In this video, we'll identify the different types of sources you might encounter and answer the questions: who writes and publishes them, where to find them, and which ones will be the best for the research you will be doing. As you're probably aware, we live in a time of information overload. There are so many different types of sources out there, but I'm going to simplify them by grouping them into 4 categories. These are popular, background, professional, and academic. Let's start with popular sources. You're probably the most familiar with these sources. These are your general search results, websites, blogs, magazine and newspaper articles, broadcast news, Wikipedia articles, etc. As you can guess, the authors range a lot in this category because anyone can put anything they want up on a website. They might be experts putting information on a personal website, or they might just be a random person who believes they should share their opinion. They might also be a staff writer or a journalist for a trusted organization. So you can see it ranges a lot in this category. Take a look at some of the places you can find these sources. While many of these have good reputations and will be helpful to your research, you may have to exercise your critical thinking with others. Which sources are giving you reliable, data-backed information? Which are giving you biased opinions? Librarians have devised a test to help you figure this out called the CRAP test. To learn more, check out our video on the topic. Now, let's look at some of the features of these types of sources. Generally, they're written at around a middle school reading level. They don't usually include specialized vocabulary and have an uncomplicated writing structure to be more accessible to the general public. Because of this, they also assume their audience has little to no working knowledge of the topic. So, should you use them for your research assignments? Many of these types of sources are freely available and easy to find on the internet, so people often go to these first. They can be great for finding quick facts or keeping up with current news. Check out our video about when to use Google in academic research for tips on the best uses for Google. Unfortunately, because anyone can put them up, there's no filter for information. You have to either know your source or verify the information from other trusted, unbiased places. Also, in college-level courses, your professors will expect you to use higher-level research, usually peer-reviewed, for your assignments. Check out our video on peer-reviewed articles for more information on what that means. Next up is background research. These are things like encyclopedia entries, articles, and summaries that are usually written by hired staff writers for whichever organizations put them out. They are not usually experts in the field, but they do gather information from reliable sources. Usually, you can find background research in certain databases such as History, Science, or Literary Reference Center, CQ Researcher, or Britannica, or other online encyclopedias. These sources are still fairly easy to read, and they are usually a great jumping off point for research in areas that you're unfamiliar with. They give great overviews of topics, and some databases, such as CQ Researcher, give timelines and pro-con viewpoints for different topic areas. The information has often been verified by other sources, as I mentioned earlier. Unfortunately, the most trusted sites are usually behind a paywall, but on the plus side, most college libraries will pay for you to have access. As a CAP student, you have access to all of the databases I just mentioned through UW-Oshkosh Libraries. For more information on how to access them, check out the virtual tour of our website. Okay, now we're advancing to some slightly more specialized sources. Professional sources are usually articles and books, and sometimes other things like blogs or videos that are usually written by practitioners or researchers in that field. So, for example, a nursing article would be written by a nurse, a teacher blog would be written by a practicing teacher, etc. The bulk of these materials are found in professional journals or magazines and databases. Many of these resources are written for other professionals in the field, so you'll start to see more specialized vocabulary written at a slightly higher level, but still pretty readable. Again, because these are written with practitioners in mind, they assume the readers have some knowledge of the topic and won't give as much background information. Oftentimes these are created by professional organizations in the field. These types of sources can be great for certain types of information or for students who know what career they are planning to go into. They can also help you get a feel for the current issues in a field. They are also usually behind a paywall, but again, some libraries will give you access to them. Finally, let's talk about academic sources. These are the ones your professors will expect you to use. Sometimes they'll say scholarly sources, though. These are usually articles, books, and some other works, such as dissertations by student researchers and unpublished research. They are written by subject area experts and researchers, and they are found in academic journals and databases through UW-Oshkosh libraries or whichever school you enroll in after CAP. These can be intimidating for students who are not used to this level of research, but you will become more familiar with their features, especially when you get into higher level classes for your area of study. While they do have a somewhat complicated writing structure and more specialized vocabulary, they do tend to follow similar formats. If you need help reading an academic article, check out our video on the topic. These are generally the types of sources that you want to look for when you're researching for your university level classes. They are thoroughly vetted for credibility and will give you current information for your research. While they can be long, there are tips for getting the most out of them from the video I mentioned in the last slide. Finally, searching for the right articles takes a little time, but there are usually librarians available at your college or university to help you find exactly what you need. So those are the types of sources that you'll encounter when you're doing research for your classes. If you need any assistance, please visit our 24/7 library help chat to talk to a librarian.